What's up guys, Chasing Laney here with episode number 18 of From Grove to Glory. I'll speak English properly again at some point in the near future. For those of you who missed the last episode, basically what happened was that Fernando Alonso came in 4th, and yeah, Kubica came in 5th. Sorry, brain fail me. 4th, 5th. We got some points. Either way, Fernando... Can you tell it's been like 4 weeks since I've recorded an episode of this? Fernando Alonso is currently sitting 7th in the Drivers' Championship with 72 points, which is not bad after 6 races with the team. Robert Kubica currently sitting 9th with 40 points, and in the Team's Championship we're currently sitting 4th and chasing down 3rd because Red Bull are within touching distance. We're picking up literally right after the last race, so let's go through the little mailbox, see what's going on. Get a little rundown here that I probably could have done before. Interview with Sky Sports that I didn't do last time. Was going to ask me questions I don't remember. Yes. Who wouldn't want Lewis Hamilton on their team? Obviously. Stupid questions. We made a pit mistake and some stuff happened. And scouting report, Sebastian Buemi would be one of the better drivers in the World Motorsport Championship. Interesting. Anyone remember Sebastian Buemi from his time in F1? It was okay, but no one said that guy's a future world champion. But in the context of this, apparently he is a future world champion. So we'll keep a little eye on him. Although he's very expensive, so it'll be a very little eye we keep on him. Let's just have a quick look, see if we can get ourselves a good pit crew member. We can't, because none of those guys are as good as what we have. Because we have the best pit crew on the grid by some distance, so that's not a concern. And we've done the scouting, so we can just skip forth and continue with our lives. Yeah, the next Grand Prix is the Japanese Grand Prix. That's what we're coming up on at a pace. We should still have some car work going on. We're currently working on a new engine, which is currently our weakest thing, very uncharacteristically of Williams. I'm starting to think though, I did the maths and I worked out that if we'd had Fernando Alonso all season just in the back of the grid car we have, he'd currently be sitting 3rd in the championship. So if we can give him a good car next year, we can probably get him a Drivers' Championship. Let's pause that quick. Mail. What's in the mailbox? We've finished scouting, we've finished this, we've done some stuff, and we're doing the factory. The work we're doing in the factory is done. Was that the staff centre is finished? Oh, it wasn't. Okay. We need to do more reliability work. That's going to be a important thing for us, because you know, the more reliable we can make the vehicle, the better we can drive. That's just science. It's just science. All the parts we're currently using, we are going to get up to maximum reliability as best we can. I think that's going to be the plan. We can leave the rear wings till last and suspension till last. That should work out okay. But for now we need to focus on just pushing this performance levels as high as we can to try and get ourselves, you know, back in touching distance of the leaders. Who was the most recent thing that came in? Gary Paffett was the most recent scouting report. Oof. Okay. We'll not worry about Gary Paffett too much. Another scouting report just going. We've just opened someone's just opened a new scouting centre. We should have a HQ upgrade coming very soon too. Scouting report for Felipe Massa. We below average in the world drive. That's Sebastian Buemi is apparently a top driver. Felipe Massa, who came within inches of winning the world title, is not. Okay. We'll go with that. Spec engines on the agenda for the GMA. Well, they want me to decide if I want spec engines. I'm going to go with probably not, because it's Formula 1 and we're not driving F2 cars here. Right, let's have a quick look, see where we're up with the HQ developments that are going on. We're building a test track. It's 4 weeks away. We're still 27 weeks from the all-important car factory. New buildings wise, there's nothing we can build. We could upgrade some stuff if we want to spend all of the money we have, which we don't. We'll leave that to the next thing. So into the race. and I'm going to do the usual thing where I go away. We're going to do the £20,000 minimise our failures. I'm going to go away in a second, and I'm going to come back and just show you the race. But let me just sort out this thing. Tyre wear medium. Tyre wear medium probably means I want something resembling that. I think that's probably the way forward. Part fitting, it should all be fine. So we'll go into that, and I'm going to come back with the race in just a moment. So stick with. Okay guys, so we have found ourselves with a 47 lap race. We've got Fernando Alonso in 9th on the grid. We've got Robert Kubica in 13th on the grid. I didn't quite get the setups as I'd like them to be, which was disappointing. But, you know, we will make do as we make do, I suppose. That's kind of the best we can go with it. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's going to be a one-stop. Be a one-stop strategy. We've got them on split strats because obviously Alonso got himself into the top 10. He has to start on the soft tyres, so Kubica's starting on the medium, and then they will swap round at their pit stops, because I think that's the fastest way to get them to the end with a one stop. We've also got the performance boosts in the mediums and the race trim, so that should all work out. We're going to keep the strat on yellows because I just want to kind of get us to the end, and it seems to be the most effective way of just building up places. I mean, you can go up and down with things as you need to, but yeah, it just seems the best way to get to the end and pick up points in my experience. So Lewis Hamilton starts on pole with Seb qualifying a tenth of a second behind him, then Leclerc in 3rd, Bottas in 4th, so a familiar Ferrari Mercedes front 2 rows, followed by Ricciardo in the Renault and Verstappen in the Haas in 5th and 6th. We have got Graham Rahal in 7th in the Red Bull and Carlos Sainz in the McLaren in 8th. Then we've got Alonso 9th in our Williams, next to Nico Hulkenberg in the Renault in 10th. 11th place we have got Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa, next to Roman Grosjean in the second Haas, who's carrying an injury, which is slightly worrying for him, I suppose. Kubica in 13th, next to Lando Norris in the McLaren, followed by Giovinazzi in 15th for Alfa, Pierre Gasly in 16th in the Red Bull, a really poor performance from him in qualifying. Sergio Perez takes 17th in the Racing Point next to Alex Albon in the Toro Rosso in 18th, and then bringing up the rear, Lance Stroll for Racing Point and Danny Kvyat for Toro Rosso, so a Racing Point and Toro Rosso back row. So let's get to 5 red lights and let's see if we can get ourselves a nice win. Let's take those off. I need to remember at some point to turn those off entirely, but I haven't done it yet. I'm going to start watching Alonso because I feel like he's got the best chance of making up positions. I think Kubica's going to fall a little bit purely because he is on those mediums, but a lot of teams around him seem to be going for mediums as well. There is a way to get to the end going soft if you save a little bit, so Raikkonen could be one to watch as well. He could find his way up to the top half of the grid depending how things shake out around him. As long as he can stay in touch with the top 10, you would think very much he has an opportunity of making a podium today. Because if he looks after his tyres quite well, he can get soft to the end, because obviously the game doesn't make you change compounds. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to speed things up though, because I don't think a lot's going to happen in the early stage of the race. But us kind of fighting between 7th and 9th is more or less the way I see this going as an opener. We've got Kimi Raikkonen coming up behind us on our gearbox now. We're going to bring this round into regular speed as we cross the line. But I say as we cross the line, we're nowhere near the line yet, because Suzuka's Yokohama, sorry, is a weirdly long track on this game, despite only taking a minute 11-ish to get around, which I've never fully understood. And as soon as we cross the line, we're going to go full power with the DRS. Raikkonen can get past us for now, but I think we'll probably take him once we come back around, because that's pretty much going to be, well, the way that goes. Straight away on that, and then as soon as that allows us, straight away on that too. Fire all the ERS out, make good use of it. Everyone around us is using it, except Raikkonen actually, who's just gone hybrid, which is very interesting. I don't think that's the best use of hybrid, personally, but it seems to be working for him. So what do I know, right? What do I know? Kubica, by the way, has dropped all the way to the back of the field. He's having an appalling race. a really, really bad race. Um, you'll remember I put him back in the car ahead of Russell purely because he's paying us for the drive, and I need to bring the money in. So, yeah, he's not the best driver for that seat by any stretch of the imagination, I don't think. But it came down to I need that extra £900,000 a race, and he's providing it. As Alonso squeezes his way up into 8th now, still got some ERS left, which is actually quite useful. Safety car leaving the garage though, so let's do a quick pause on that. Giovinazzi has crashed. We will, yeah, it's already taken everyone off of everything, so we're going to drop all these down to blues just while the safety car is out, because that's going to be important strides. Do you want to pit now? Absolutely not. Why would you want to pit when you've got so much tyre left? That's an absolutely ridiculous suggestion for anyone to make. Must be your first time. We'll join the safety car. I think that's going to be the best way to go for this, because then we'll know when the safety car goes in. We've only got one lap under the safety car apparently. See, there's a few things in this game's AI I don't fully understand. Like the safety car has left the pits, yes, but it's also moving when normally it would have stayed stopped at the end of the pit lane until the cars were approaching it, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Also, the fact that we're going to save some tyres here is going to work out pretty well for us in the long run, I think. As long as we can time everything perfectly on the restart, we should be okay. Let's speed things up a little bit, because otherwise it's going to take all day for us to get round to this safety car. Under safety car speed. Safety car, I don't think I've seen a safety car on the second lap in a long time. Seems a bit unusual, but hopefully this will be good for Kubica too, because Kubica can take advantage of this to maybe find his way jumping a few places if we're very lucky. Tyre temps are going to be low, that's fine. It wants me to push to get them back up, but why would we do that when we can save our tyres? Save our tyres for a lap, give ourselves a better chance of making it to the end on the strategy, and then we'll have some tyres to burn towards the end of the race, is the theory. Good start by Alonso. He's got himself up into 8th. He was doing pretty well. Kubica really needs to think through his life choices a little bit better. Hopefully we're going to pick up a lot of ERS refill as well as we go through this lap under the safety car, which will help us immensely as we try and push through the field. Safety car is heading to the garage now, so we need to keep an eye on that, just to be absolutely certain that we push at the right time, because if we don't push at the right time, things are going to end very, very badly for us. That's always been the way this thing has gone. I just need it to get round the track, really. Just need it to get round the track. That's all I'm really asking of anything right now, is just get round the track. But we'll see what happens. I don't know what's happened there. Why is it frozen? There we go, it's defrozen. Defrosted? I don't know. I don't understand how that works. I don't understand how that works with computers. Do they defreeze? Do they defrost? Do they anti-freeze? No one knows. Safety car's going in, and I need it to go in fast so I can start to know what's actually happening on the track rather than anything else. We're coming down the back straight now. We'll go back into real time because I want to be ready to pause as soon as things go green, which sounds counterintuitive, but you guys understand exactly what I'm trying to say. Lewis backing everyone off the safety car very prematurely, it's got to be said, because he's not going to get much of a jump by doing that, or he shouldn't do. We crossed on the line. You'd think we'd be green by now. There we go, we are green, so we're going to go full ERS push. We are going to go, we're going to do a lap of just full attack. I don't know what other teams are doing, but we can find out. Looks like we're the first ones to make the big old jump, which is good. Let's go back to Fernando, see what he can do here. Like I said, one lap of push is what we need, which should hopefully get all of our tyres and things back into adequate racing temperatures. Big old push straight off the line. Verstappen making some big gains going forward. It's already up into 5th. We're already pushing up into 6th. Everything seems to be going fairly well for us. That's worked out nicely for us, I think. Kubica's pushed his way back up into 15th as well, so he's finally showing some pace, some form, and some speed, which is what we need. Let's give it a big push. Alonso seems to be dropping back again though, so obviously we let his tyres get too cold under the safety car. Something I don't understand really. I have to control the tyre temps under the safety car. It's the perfect time to conserve tyres, but the drivers don't themselves warm up their tyres, which I've never completely understood. Let's put those back to neutrals, and those ones should be able to go back to neutrals as well, because that's where we're at in the lap, I think. Go another push there, burn that out, and then let's just speed forward into regular time and see what Fernando can do. He's gone up into 9th again. Hovering between 9th and 10th seems to be our thing today. Just seems to be where we're at, between Ray Hall and Gasly, who's actually done pretty well. Yellow flag for Seb. Are we going to get a safety car? We're not, but that's going to help us and help our race immensely. So we'll take that quite happily. Kubica up into 12th. He's finally turned his tyres on, which is absolutely outstanding for him. And we're just going to have to see what we can do from here on out, because this should be working out quite nicely for us long term. Although the temps on Alonso's tyres still seem to be going up, which is quite interesting. Alonso battles his way up into 7th. Good man. I think 7th might be our ceiling without pit strats, so we're just going to have to hope that if everyone ahead of us is going to stop, which is not impossible, then we might be okay. But we have to see how that shakes out, because things will have changed a little bit with the safety car coming out. If we've saved enough tyres on the safety car run to be able to get an extra couple of laps out, we could actually go straight from super soft to soft and see it through to the end. Kimi Raikkonen will be the big winner from all this, though. You'll remember I was saying he can go medium without a safety car. With a safety car, he's pretty much locked in a medium strategy, which is very interesting. We're going to go for another big push because Kvyat needs to get out of Kubica's way, and hopefully we can just breeze in past. We have done. That has probably solved that issue for a couple of laps at least. Fernando looking right at the back of the gearbox of Kimi Raikkonen. He's within a second of him, which doesn't make any difference because there's no DRS on this game, which is, unhelpful. It's unhelpful, but we'll see what we can do here. Because I just want to sort of get to the first pit stops, the first pit window, which will be coming in somewhere around lap 17, and then we'll probably get a better idea of how the rest of the race is going to shake out, because that will inform things. I think Carlos Sainz has got to be going 2-stop, probably Daniel Ricciardo, looking at how things are looking up there. They've been pushing quite hard. Nico's been pushing quite hard in his tyres as well, so I'm not overly worried about him behind us. I think he is going to force himself into a 2-stop race as well, whereas I'm fairly comfortable making it on a 1-stop. So we just need to keep an eye on what's behind us. As Carlos Sainz has come into the pits, it's going to cost him an awful lot of time. That's probably ruined his race, to be honest. I mean, he's gone onto a set of mediums, which means he's got to go back onto a set of supers at the end. Hulk's going to come in as well, so we're going to find ourselves a little bit safer. Fernando's reporting worn tyres, but he is a couple of laps from coming. In fact, we're going to dial back and conserve just for a little while, because we need to get the temp out of his tyres. And actually, I'm going to need to get the temp out of Kubica's tyres, because they've heated up massively since we've been back to racing. Just to see if we can drop those temperatures back down. Everyone around us seems to be coming in, which is also worth bearing in mind. Alonso's probably got one more lap on these tyres after this. Probably. See where he crosses the line. Looks like it'll be 25-ish%. He's probably got one more lap on these tyres. We'll bring him in and we'll see where we can put him out back onto the track. 34 to go. He should make it 34 on mediums, which works out nicely. We'll recharge his battery to full. None of the parts needed fixing as far as I could tell. Is it worth risking that stop? Probably not, actually, to be honest. Probably not worth that risk. Apparently it's going to bring us out battling Carlos Sainz, but I'm not too worried, because Carlos is going to have to make that second stop. We're going to push the tyres back up out of neutral, because, it's not going to make a great deal of difference. We'll join Robert Kubica for a while. I know there's a battle going on there, but Leclerc is past him. Everyone around us needs to go into the pits. which means Kubica's probably going to get a bit of a jump going. We'll give him a little push though, because we need to get him away from Danny Kvyat a bit further. And maybe we can sort of start dreaming there's a podium in this for us. Maybe Kubica's going to kind of cross the line, and hopefully he's just put his best second sector in, and possibly his best lap of the race actually. Mistake-free pit stop for Fernando. That's what we like to see. Kubica extending his stint as well. And we're waiting for guys ahead of us to come in. Gasly has jumped us, which is disappointing. Like I said, Kimi is the man to watch. Kimi Räikkönen is the man to watch in this race. With the way things are going, we're going to go for a push there with Fernando because he's got some ERS to use, and see if we can get him past Nico Hülkenberg, which you'd hope we could. Hopefully past Ricciardo, but Ricciardo seems to have got in and out of the pits fairly comfortably. So things are looking fairly solid for us. Nothing really going on with Robert Kubica right now though, so let's switch our attentions back to Fernando, because he's going to be in the more interesting battle, you'd feel, with Sainz just ahead of him, Hulk just behind him. Things might just be about to happen there. Kubica though still up in 7th, still doing okay. People I guess are stopping, so that's going to bump him up the order a little bit. You'd think maybe Rahal, Bottas, Verstappen and Hamilton is now in, so there's that. We won't pass Hamilton surely. No. No is the answer. Let's go back to Robert, see what's happening there. His tyre temps are more or less back to normal. He's got Lando Norris behind him closing in, you'd think. He is closing in, so we're going to push those back up to neutral and see what we can do. We've got to keep an eye on the tyre temps for Fernando as well, because it's very hot on track today and we're trying to manage tyre life, which is going to be crucial to get us through to the end of the race. We don't want to let it overheat too much, so that's going to be something we have to pay attention to. As Kubica back to another fastest lap of the race for him. We should neutralise on fuel somewhere with about 5 to go ish, I think, if my maths are right. Maybe a little bit earlier now, so maybe about 7 to go. We should neutralise on fuel, which will give us a little bit of things to play with while we're at it. Alonso give him a push because he needs to get up to the back of Graham Rahal about as fast as he possibly can. Kubica riding well though in 4th, doing okay. He's going to start losing Gasly, but you kind of expect him to lose a Red Bull. Especially, yeah, Alonso I wouldn't necessarily expect to lose a Red Bull, as he's proving right up behind Graham Rahal. But yeah, I would expect Kubica to be losing Gasly at a pace. But like I said, it's going to come with the first set of pit stops. And Raikkonen actually is on about the same tyre wear as us, so he definitely is looking good for a soft strategy. Especially when you consider that Hamilton does have to pit again. For sure has to pit again, as Kubica lets Norris past him. Which is not the one, that's not the way, Bobby. We're going to drop Fernando's tyre wear down a little bit, just to try and keep things going. How's that looking back there? Because I don't see Kubica making the pass anytime soon. I know I can take Kubica's tyres down to almost like the rims, basically, as well, which means I've got a big window to play with in terms of when I bring him in. As Fernando is starting to make tracks back towards Rahal, we can maybe do another ERS push and catch him up, although Rahal has gone ERS as well, so that actually effectively did nothing. Although he's got himself stuck behind Alex Albon too, which is very interesting. He's finally got his way past. Albon we should make short work of once we catch him, you would think, because Fernando is most assuredly a better driver than Alex Albon. How are things looking with tyre temps? They're looking okay, they're looking about equal. Give Kubica a little bit of a push, see if we can get him back within a few seconds of Lando. We go back within 2.7 of Lando, which is a nice little catch up. We're going to have to give a little push to Alonso because Nico Hülkenberg is getting a bit impatient back there, a little bit impatient. He's just bombing past everybody. Kubica complaining war on tyres, but he can shut up because I don't need his input right now. I don't need his input right now. I will know when it's time to bring him in for tyres. Because it will tell me who has just pit. A whole bunch of people just pit. Raikkonen just came in for his second set of softs. He is going soft to the end. Called that strategy right from the start. That was always going to be the way he was going to go. Alonso, you know, I think there's still probably 5 or 6 stops ahead of him to be made. So you'd think he'd get himself into the points as long as he can keep things going well. Otherwise, we are also. In fact, we might come back onto regular fuel or having excess fuel very soon. Sooner than I thought. I might have about 10 laps to go on the excess, which could work out nicely. Although Alonso struggling with this battle, we're going to keep Kubica on the medium tyre strategy because he should be within his window for supers. I think 18, 20. Yeah, he should just come in. That's stupid. Let's not push that too close. That will be a mistake. We don't want to make mistakes that cost our drivers because that's just mean. Just mean to do that to them. Alonso down the long straight away coming up. Give him that push. Can he finally take Alex Albon and move on with his life? He can. And hopefully he'll keep Albon behind him. He's not. He managed 2 corners keeping Albon behind him. It was a nice dream. It was a nice pipe dream, but we'll make it work somehow. I'm going to try and bring Kubica in probably fairly soon. Let's see, he's defending from Max apparently, or he's just been overtaken by Max. 18 laps to go, so we'll keep an eye on that. We just want to kind of, as long as we can keep Danny Rick behind us, I think we'll be okay. Although we are going to start losing performance pretty soon. Go a couple more laps and we'll see what we can do there. We're going to put Alonso back up into neutral tyring because he is dropping places. He's lost a place to Lando Norris, which just isn't okay. Don't lose places to a guy whose daddy had to buy him a seat. Lance Stroll is not the guy to lose places to under any circumstances. Kubica rolling through. Where are we looking at now? He should take Norris. He should take Norris. Alonso, I mean, not Kubica. Obviously, that would be weird. Oh, well, Roman Grosjean's pitted and he found himself behind Fernando. That's going to hurt his race, probably in the long term. Where are we at in terms of tyres? There should be 15-ish to go, right? 15 to go, okay. That is going to be time to bring in Big Boy Kubica for a run on these tyres. We will go up into the full charge because why wouldn't you go full charge? And we are going to hit the charge, kill that off. Attack on the tyres because we need to get rid of, well, we don't need to get rid of the tyres, but we may as well make the best use of them, try and build up a slightly faster in-lap. That's sort of my theory. Build up a slightly faster in-lap and see how that works out for us. Then I can drop that down to neutral as he comes into the pit lane now. And hopefully he'll get away with a nice clean pit stop. He's got enough tyres to see him through to the end. Alonso, you'd hope, has enough tyres to see him through to the end. And that should complete our pit strategy. And we've just got to kind of wait out the race now, see what's happening, see if we can give Alonso a push, because a few people came into the pits behind us too. So there might be positions to take here if we can push Alonso through. Just have a quick look just to see how many laps are left on the tyres of Alonso. He is golden, he is okay. We should be fully set to make it to the end, which is excellent. Let's give Bobby Kubica the big old push, and hopefully we can catch him up to the back of Fernando. And there should be one more stop to happen ahead of us, which is Albon, and then we're in a straight fight for the win unless Carlos Sainz has to come in for tyres. Kubica has pushed his way through past Alonso. And having these guys fighting isn't ideal for us, but you know, as long as they don't touch each other, we should be okay. That's the theory. The theory is if they touch each other, we are screwed, but as long as they don't touch each other, we should be fine. And we'll keep with Kubica because he should in theory be faster on the softer tyre, and maybe be able to just naturally carve his way through the field. Albon's come into the pits. which puts Norris up into 10th. We are relying on Sainz and Hulk having to make another pit stop, I think, to get ourselves up into the top 10. But if things stay as they are, then we should be top 10 regardless, because, you know, they should both make it into the top 10. That's how the theory goes. We'll see if that actually works. But that is the theory. Theory, of course, often not better than practice, so we'll see how that goes. We'll work our way through it. Right, where are we at? We can go on to automatic on your ERS. You can have control over that, and we should be at a point in a second where we can put Kubica in charge of his ERS, and that should work out quite nicely. Hopefully it will make out quite nicely for us, and if it doesn't, we'll work with it. Kubica up into 9th, Alonso into 10th. That means those 2 pit stops I've made have happened. I didn't even notice them happening, which is good. Danny Ricciardo is kind of the man we've got to watch out for now. I think it's safe to say Danny Ricciardo is the man that can spoil our hopes and dreams, because Lance Stroll isn't going to catch us. Kvyat, Grosjean and Hulkenberg maybe are good enough to get through there, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Alonso has gone hybrid mode, which feels like a mistake unless I push the fuel mode. What's his car condition like? Should be okay. In fact, if he's going hybrid, that does give me the option of defending against Danny Ricciardo with a higher engine mode, which is actually not the worst call in the world, especially if we're going to have to drop down tyres to overheating. Because of overheating, we'll conserve both drivers' tyres for now, because our only concern really is that we get them to the end in the points. That's basically it. Both the Red Bulls are ahead of us, so we'll lose ground to them in the Constructors, but then we never expected to be competing with Red Bull in the Constructors, so that's actually not too bad. Apparently Kubica thought going into hybrid mode was a good idea, while I wasn't paying attention too. So he can push on the fuel, burn off some excess, and hopefully that will see us to the end too. Kubica in theory actually should be able to push up behind Lando Norris. Alonso should be pushing away. What are we doing in terms of... Everyone is conserving tyres. It's going to be engine that makes all the difference, so we'll have to see how this goes. Tyre wear is getting pretty bad. Well, be better with your tyres. Be better with your tyres, Fernando. Just be better with your tyres. Just get them to the end. You should be able to make it 4 laps on them, just about. Ricciardo will have an advantage tyre-wise, for sure. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. He has for sure an advantage on tyres because he's on softs. They've got more left in them, but he's going to have to push them to get past us. I think that's going to be the key here. I'm going to go jump to Bobby Kubica, because I think Bobby Kubica might be in a position where he can get ahead of Lando Norris, and if he can get himself ahead of Rahal even by some miracle, that would be ridiculous. He is within a second of Lando, so we should be close enough. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll see something happen. Hopefully. Fernando has lost a place to Danny Ricks, which is not ideal. Don't lose places to Danny Ricks. Catch him back up. Catch him back up, son. He's taken the position back. There's more of a fight going on there than there is for chasing Lando, which is interesting. In fact, we're starting to bring the cars together, which is even better. We might have a good old finish ahead of us. Kubica wants us to do something to push him past Lando, which we can do if we just do it. You've got access to this button yourself. I don't know why I'm doing it for you. You could just press that button yourself and push past him. We're on the last lap. Things are looking good. We've got to keep an eye on Alonso's fuel just to make sure he makes it to the end, but he should have enough in the tank to make it to the end. We'll see when he crosses the line. Not quite. He's going to have to drop down into high mode. There is enough in Kubica's tank to make it to the end. Quick pause there because I've just noticed there are tyres left on both drivers. We're on the last lap. Let's not mess around. Let's bring this one in. 8th and 9th is the way to go. I don't know who's just dropped out of the top ahead of us. Oh, it was Leclerc dropped out ahead of us. Obviously made a late pit stop I wasn't paying attention to because I wasn't expecting any more pit stops. Although Bottas has cost himself what must have been a podium by making a second pit stop too, which is super awkward. Let's just throw a cat among the pigeons. Why not? Let's give a little bit of a performance boost to Alonso as he comes around the last couple of corners. See if he can get up there. See if he can get involved in this fight. See what he's got left to give. If he's got anything left to give. He should have something left to give, because, you know, why not? He's Fernando Alonso. We expect the best of him. We're going to bring in a nice 8-9 finish, which is fairly tidy. Would have been nice if we didn't have Gasly on a podium and Rahal ahead of us as well, but we've extended our gap over the Renault boys, which is good, and kept that 4th place looking strong. And let's see what the drivers think. Everyone's happy with what we've achieved today. I'm fairly happy with what we've achieved today. Hopefully you're happy with what we've achieved today, and you'll smash that like button for being happy with what we've achieved today, and subscribe if you haven't already, because, you know, a lot of people watch Motorsport Manager videos and don't subscribe. It's a scientific fact. It's been proven by scientists all over the world. Probably, maybe, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But an 8-9 finish is a pretty solid way to go for us, as Lewis is confirmed as the winner, taking it from Max and Pierre Gasly. 20 seconds he's taking it from as well, which is pretty special. We're going to make sure I get rid of that very fast, because that's the bit where it hates me. And hopefully it hasn't had any trouble recording this episode, because it was having a bit of trouble recording something earlier. And I don't obviously watch OBS whilst I'm playing the game, so hopefully you guys have seen everything, because if you haven't, then I don't know what to tell you. We'll see. Hopefully it's been alright. It should have been alright. But I always have this weird fear that OBS is going to screw me, because it seems to hate me every time it updates itself, which is disappointing. But there we go. Right, where are we at now? We are 8th and 9th. One stop strat seemed to work out pretty well. Raikkonen, like I predicted, did go medium. Rahal, I guess, came in at approximately the same time we did. I'm guessing he must have come in at the same time we did. Where are we looking at? Rahal came in just after Fernando. Okay, that just gives me an idea of how people at title are strategizing, because Raikkonen pretty much went to 50% distance and then saw it home, which was quite nice for him. But yeah, no other big surprises, nothing major happening. So yeah, that's a good old result, a good result for us. I think we'll take an 8-9. Hopefully we'll definitely pass scrutiny. Hopefully someone will fail scrutiny. Maybe we can have an extra spot. Let's see what it says. No penalties for anyone. Penalties for Vettel. Vettel's been demoted 4 places after being found to have broken the rules, but he also crashed. So that's the most pointless of all the penalties. He's absolutely torpedoed his own title race as well, his own constructors race. No big gains there. Graham Rahal drops Kubica down to 10th. Alonso picks up a couple of points on Danny Rick, so that's all okay. So look at the constructors, see how that's looking. We have fallen to, quick math in my head, 27 points behind Red Bull. So we're going to need some spectacular results for the rest of the season, but I'm sure we can pull them off. We have still increased our lead though to 16 points over Renault. Haas will have made gains on us, but nothing to stress about. That's looking pretty good. Should be fine. Right, let's just have a see how our drivers have improved. Then we'll wrap up the episode, because that's usually the way this goes. I don't even know what the episode length has been today. Are we pushing the hour yet? We probably are pushing the hour, because we usually are. Maybe not quite yet, which is actually better than I hope, or better than I expected. Yeah, we just need to see what we're going to gain in terms of performance, chairman happiness. We've definitely exceeded our expectations as a team, because the expectations as a team are that we bring in 10th, and We did that. We did that in spades. We should be about 4th, I think. We came 6th, apparently. Okay. Any improvements? Any ruining of drivers? Nothing special. Everything seems to have worked out just about okay. Good, good. Right, guys. We've lost money, but less than usual. And yeah, we'll come back in the next episode, which I guess is somewhere in Asia. Brazil, maybe? Brazil. Next episode, we're coming back for the race in Brazil. We like a good race in Brazil. That's going to see things through very nicely. I'm guessing that's round 18. So 4 rounds to go in this year's championship, which is not unassailable. That's not. We're still in a position where we can still take that 3rd place in the constructors. It's not out of our reach entirely, though. We are going to need a couple of good podium runs, which could be a challenge. It could be a challenge unless this new power unit that's coming in has the power to overcome Rio in a few days' time, because that's definitely a power circuit. So, right, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As per usual, I've been Chasing Lamely. You've been awesome. Hit me up on the socials, like and subscribe. And until next time, have a good one.